connecting and building next. Now, how we are going to do that for Punjab, may I please invite our panel on stage who will explain it more. Mr. Karan, Gilhotra, Chairperson, Punjab Chapter, PHDCCI. Mr. Sameer Sharma, Founder, uEngage and Shoutlo. Mr. Harkirat Ahluwalia, Founder, Citrus County Farm Stay. जोरदार तालियां हो जाएं हमारे इस अगले पैनल के लिए. The discussion they are going to do is going to talk about connecting and building next. Now, how Punjab is going to do that, we'll of course listen them carefully. Over to you, Jyoti.
Thank you, Misha. So we have another exciting set of panelists from several new kind of pioneering businesses that they are kind of, they have set up, they are setting up, they are looking to the future. In fact, I'll start with you, Harkirat, first. Again, somebody who had a traditional agricultural background probably would have thought of agriculture as a regular kind of traditional way of looking at it. But then you thought different. You actually went into farm tourism, which was a very pioneering concept. People at that point in time had this very standard question to ask you, farm tourism in Punjab, who's going to come? But eventually it's turned into a roaring business. And now you literally have a Taj and you literally have the big chains now lining up to kind of get a slice of the pie. So that's where farm tourism has evolved to. It's diversified agricultural income. It has kind of turned into a Biznext opportunity. And that's something that you have pioneered. What was the challenge that you were looking at? How did you kind of come upon this option? And then as you went into it, what was the trajectory that it took? Very briefly, if you could tell us about that, Kirat.
Jyoti, thing is that, you know, farming is always very good as it looks. Magar jado karan lago te pata chalda hai ke ede vich income levels are not as expected. Because तुसी हर चीज़ ना deal कर रहे हो. You're dealing with weather, you're dealing with different kind of crops, competition, everything. So I basically grow citrus. मेरे citrus दे farm ने हुशारपुर. And this is the third generation असी farming कर रहे सीगे. And I realized के it is high time के diversification करनी बड़ी ज़रूरत है की है because incomes घटी जा रही हैं सी crops the weather pattern change तुसी आज ही देख लो whether what we are in February we should have been in April so that affects the crops. I mean now if you see this weather it is threatening the wheat crop that yield यदि घट जाएगी. So I thought the sooner the better कि असी diversification वाल ध्यान देइए. So I realized and I thought that let's do something staying at the farm because farming sade blood cha khoon cha and I didn't want to leave my farm and get into a city and get stuck in traffic lights, you know. So I was very clear ke farm te rehna hai magar karna ki hai farm te, how to diversify in the farm. So we set up our first farm stay in 2008 and it was a very big challenge for me because किसी नू पंजाब च tourism ज़्यादा encourage नहीं किया किसी ने and लोकां नू पता भी नहीं सीगा. They only knew about Golden Temple, you know. बाकी पंजाब ज़्यादा किसी नू knowledge नहीं सीगी. So बड़ा बड़ा challenge सीगा ज्योति मैनू उन्हों materialize करके बनाना उन्हों set up करना. And ਜਦੋਂ ਸੈਟਅਪ ਕੀਤਾ 2008 ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ 2611 ਹੋ ਗਿਆ. So that was, you see, tourism is one thing which is totally related to law and order. ਅਗਰ ਕੋਈ issue ਆਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ tourism ਨੂੰ ਸਭ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਇਫੈਕਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ. And ਸਾਡਾ ਇੱਕ ਬੜਾ ਅੱਛਾ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਆਣਾ ਸੀ ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ ਤੋਂ for December but ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਕੈਂਸਲ ਕਰਤਾ. But I made it sure कि मैं Melbourne जाके I met all the guests who were coming and I told them कि जी if anything happens I will take the first shot. So everyone came, you know, they really came and enjoyed being in Punjab. So then I realized that Punjab has a very big potential, and we have to take our best foot forward. And बस उस तो बाद चलते रहे, farming भी करते रहे, and farm tourism करते रहे, हौली हौली ਵਧਾਉਂਦੇ रहे. And see, I always feel that you have to go through the process. You have to go through the whole process of learning, and ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਥੋੜਾ ਬਹੁਤਾ experience भी आंदा है, and जो थोड़ी बहुती success मिलती है वो तो मिलती है.
Harkirat, you had almost 2 dozen, 3 dozen British farmers who had come over to your farm stage just about a week back. When they came and saw this, did they find it as an enterprising business, or is this something that is common in the United Kingdom? Do they also diversify into these kind of farm stays, or is it something that they found innovative here? What was their feedback on it? Because they were also farmers in the United Kingdom, and here you are, who is diversified.
So, you know, we do this series since about 8 years with a British company, जिथे farmers आंदे ने साडे कोल रहंदे ने, सारा experience करदे ने जो असी farming करदे हैं, अपने experiences सानू दसदे ने, उन्हां दे experiences भी साडे वंगर दे ही ने. So they were telling me कि साडे England दे विच or Scotland or Wales दे विच suicide rates are higher than what we told them.
Really?
And debts are higher. And Baki farm tourism is a very old phenomena there. Othe farm tourism ta पिछले 40 सालों तो करते हैं लोग. And they also have a very interesting concept जेड़ा उन्होंने मैनू invite किया. वो कहते कि you come and, because foreigners love to travel. वो कहते जी असी जदों बाहर जाने हैं, we want someone to come and take care of our farm. So तुसी 2 महीने साडे घर च रहो आके, असी छुट्टी मनाने हैं, and you take care of the farm. So this is a very nice kind of way of encouraging tourism. So ideas उन्हां नाल बहुत आए, बहुत कुछ सीखण नू मिलिया. The dairy farmers बड़े सीगे. So मैं उन्हां नू एक dairy farm ते लेके गया, ते उन्हां ने पुछया जेड़े owner सीगे, she was a young girl, Sarah, ते उन्होंने सारा ने उन्हां नू पुछया कि how many cattle do you have? So एक farmer सीगी, she said मेरे को 400 milking cows ने, and she says ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਬੰਦੇ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਆ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ? She says मैं आ ते मेरा husband, ਅਸੀਂ 2 ਜਣੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. So mechanization of the farm is very important, but in India it is little difficult because machinery बड़ी महंगी है, but also अगर ਅਸੀਂ mechanize कर दांगे ते how do you give employment? So that is a very big concern in India also. So lot of learning from them.
A lot of learning. Interesting that you said that there are indebted farmers in the United Kingdom, that there are suicides that are happening there, something that we wouldn't imagine, but well, that is how it is. So in a global world, one comes to know more and more as information kind of moves back and forth. Something that he spoke about, Harkirat, saying that they have also, it's also a balance. On the one hand, you're talking about mechanization, you're talking about utilization of more and more technology to actually ease up the operations, which will ultimately take a toll on the human factor in terms of the kind of employability that exists. But along with it come new opportunities, so one will have to diversify. Just a while back when we were talking, one thing which is coming across very common amongst all of you is that all said and done, while there might be swings up and down right now, but everybody seems to be very bullish on India's growth trajectory, that things are going to generally kind of do well in India. So it's a growing market, it's a big market. So when, Samir, when we talk about the kind of enterprising business that you are in, which is uEngage, which is Shoutlo, TriDeal. You started off with TriDeal from Chitkara, and thereafter now it's Shoutlo and other areas that you're looking at. What is the problem that you're solving? What is the problem that you saw? And what is the problem that you're solving? And how did you turn it into a business? Because these are what we're talking about, the next businesses. So what was the problem? What was the solution? How did you turn it into a business?
So first of all, thank you, JK, for having me here. So JK, my story is, I think, kind of pretty unusual. I don't come from a business background. So it's a small town called Dinanagar. It's a border area town in Gurdaspur. So my parents have been into education. So I think that's one thing, that's been a blessing, right? I did my engineering from Chitkara, right? Okay, so got to work with HCL for a few years, moved to Silicon Valley, right? While being in Silicon Valley in 2008 and 11 twice, right? So I saw Android launching in front of me. I saw first iPad launching in front of me, right? So that triggered a lot of thoughts, right? ये पूरे thought में ना एक और इमोशनल थॉट क्या आना शुरू हो गया था मेरे होम टाउन का कि 25,000 की पॉपुलेशन है, राइट, और मोस्ट ऑफ पीपल आर जस्ट मूविंग आउट. वो कब आया, क्यों आया, मेरे को नहीं पता. आई थिंक आई वाज टू यंग, आई वाज 21 22 years old, राइट. बट वन थिंग वाज फॉर श्योर कि मेरे को ये ट्रिगर होना शुरू हो गया था कि यार ये ऐसा सिलिकॉन वैली में क्या कर रहे हैं, हम वापस जाके नहीं कर सकते, राइट. टू, व्हाट डू वी डू दैट, हाउ कैन वी स्टॉप दैट सो कॉल्ड मूविंग आउट फॉर पंजाब, राइट. अभी ऐसा नहीं कि मैंने उसमें कोई बहुत बड़ी सक्सेस अचीव कर ली है, स्टिल द वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस, बट फर्स्ट बेबी स्टेप वाज टू कम बैक, बी हियर, राइट, एंड सेट सम एग्जाम्पल. अगर मैं वहाँ बैठा हूँ तो व्हाट इज द पॉइंट, राइट. आई डोंट इवन डिजर्व टू इवन टॉक अबाउट इट, राइट. सो आई केम बैक टू इंडिया. येस, चित्कारा वॉज वेरी काइंड. चित्कारा इन्वेस्टेड इन ट्राइडल दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, एंड वो टाइम था इंटरनेट के डेस्कटॉप का, राइट. अभी मोबाइल डिवाइसेस धीरे धीरे आ रहे थे, राइट, ठीक है. अब हम उसको बहुत कैजुअली देखते हैं, बट उस टाइम पे हम डेस्कटॉप वेबसाइट पे काम कर रहे थे. एंड ट्राइडल वाज द वेरी फर्स्ट मोबाइल ऐप फ्रॉम चंडीगढ़, राइट. दैट वाज द एरा जब हम ना बात करते थे कि लाइटेस्ट ऐप इन चंडीगढ़ 1.5 MB, राइट, ठीक है. सो ठीक है, इट वाज अ गुड लर्निंग बिकॉज बिजनेस का तो कुछ आता नहीं था मेरे को तो सिर्फ वापस आना था. एंड आई वाज जस्ट गोइंग विद द फ्लो कि देखते हैं, सीखते हैं क्या होता है, राइट. But yes, internet happened, digital transactions started happening, right? And we were almost 17x of our nearest competition, which was a global company who entered India, right? Somehow Paytm noticed us. They asked, if we can acquire you or whatever, right? Honestly, I was scared. मेरे को पता भी नहीं था exit क्या होता है, right? The first time I reach out किया, मैंने मना कर दिया डर के मारे, right? Again, now the ball was in their court. They came back to us after 3 months. Now we were ready, right? We got acquired. I got to work in Bangalore again, got to work in Paytm as well. पर ये पूरी स्टोरी में फिर से वो थॉट आया कि अब मैं वापस क्यों आया था, राइट, ठीक है. अब मैं ठीक है, मैंने वहाँ के सिलिकॉन वैली देख लिया, मैंने इंडिया का सिलिकॉन वैली देख लिया, मैंने Paytm देख लिया, बट जर्नी तो कुछ और थी, राइट. सो 2008 आई रिजाइन फ्रॉम Paytm, शिफ्टेड बैक हियर, राइट, विद फ्यू इनिशियल आइडियाज़. और ये ना पूरी जर्नी में ना इंडिया में एक बड़ा 2-3 फिनोमेनाज होने शुरू हो गए थे. आज के डेट में अगेन बहुत अंडररेटेड है. 3 फिनोमेना वो क्या है कि सबसे पहले तो हमारे मोबाइल डिवाइसेस पावरफुल हो गए, विच इज़ अ ग्लोबल थिंग. अब मेरे को ट्राइडल जैसे वो 1.5 MB का ऐड रन करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती, राइट. वी हैव 512 GB का हार्ड डिस्क, राइट, ऑन मोबाइल डिवाइसेस. सेकंड फिनोमेना इज जियो हैपेंड. वी लाइक इट और वी डोंट लाइक इट, राइट, सबका अपना कॉल है, बट दैट एक्चुअली एक्सेलरेटेड द मोबाइल इंटरनेट वेव इन इंडिया, राइट. थर्ड अंडररेटेड फिनोमेना इज UPI ट्रांजैक्शंस, राइट. UPI हो रहा था, लेकिन मेरे दिमाग में उसका एग्जाम्पल कब सेट हुआ, जब पीक ऑफ कोविड में माई मदर कॉल्ड मी, शी 75 years old, एंड सेट पंजाबी में कि दूध वाला आया है तो उन्हें डोलू ते ना कुछ लगाया हुआ है तो कहते हैं तो पैसे दे दो, राइट, ठीक है. सो दैट वाज द इम्पैक्ट विच UPI इज क्रिएटेड, राइट. नाउ ऑल दीज 3 factors, राइट, collectively, so 2015 में एक्चुअली ना बाय द वे गूगल ने एक वाइट पेपर पब्लिश किया था. दे कॉल्ड इट नेक्स्ट बिलियन पीपल, right? So next billion was all about India, right? Globally, everyone is aware that the next Indian population is going to happen in this part of the world, right? अब वो जियो के बाद UPI के बाद होना शुरू हो गया. Now we are a country जहाँ पे 800 million मोबाइल सब्सक्राइबर हैं, right? We are a country जहाँ पे 1 click में मोबाइल पेमेंट्स हो रही हैं, right? अब ये पूरे थॉट में me being a techie, right? I was very clear कि ये सब कुछ हो रहा है, तो why should this be leveraged only by some of the funded companies, right? We were also funded, right? Paytm was also funded, but this time by choice we are not funded, right? So our goal has been very clear that we are empowering small businesses, right? Based on these 3 phenomena which happen in India, right? कि why they should be dependent on some aggregators, right? Why they should not be getting the data कि उनका खाना कौन खा रहा है. Why they should be arm twisted कि commission 5% से 35% चले गए हैं, right? So keeping those factors in mind, right? When I shifted back, we started working on few things, right? आज की डेट में ये है कि ये 4 साल की जर्नी में we have clocked around 1000 CR worth of orders. We have saved commission worth 300 CR, right? While sitting in Chandigarh, right? बहुत सारे ये पूरी कहानी में चेंज हुए हैं because when I shifted back, lot of people said ये चंडीगढ़ में प्रोडक्ट कंपनी कैसे बन सकती है, right? You're not raising money, you're not too sexy, right? So वो सारे challenges थे, पर जैसे जैसे ये चीज़ें आगे बढ़ती जा रही हैं, तो I think वो जो मेरा original belief था और ये पूरी कंपनी का हमारा original belief था कि India is growing, that India is the next digital destination, right? I think that is paying off to us, right? So we are just solving this, that we want to enable the very deeper part of the Punjab, very deeper part of the India, कि छोटे से छोटा जो एक मर्चेंट है, पुराना दुकानदार है, जो प्रॉब्ली 30 साल से समोसे बेच रहा है, they should not be sidelined because of the funded companies, you know. So we are the one, or there are few other companies who want to empower them कि ठीक है, आपका समोसा बनाना कैपेबिलिटी है, आपका एक अच्छी बनारसी साड़ी बनाना कैपेबिलिटी है, राइट, बट दैट डज नॉट मीन कि डिजिटल एरा आ गया है तो आपको साइडलाइन होना पड़ेगा. सो दैट्स व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू.
Very interesting. So before I move on to Karan, a quick question for you. You said you are from Dinanagar. So while you are at the cutting edge of technology, you're looking at the future. What is the distance in terms of adoption of technologies and being future oriented that you see in Dinanagar and in Chandigarh? Do you see Dinanagar also picking up? Because ultimately it is the Dinanagars across Punjab which have to really take off for Punjab to kind of move forward. And as you said that people used to say ki Chandigarh mein kyun? But it also means this is a full land of opportunity. I mean, if there are gaps here, those are gaps which are waiting to be filled. Either you fill them or somebody else is going to come and fill them. So ultimately, those gaps are going to be filled. So it's also an opportunity. But quickly, what is the difference that you see in Dinanagar and in Chandigarh? And do you see that bridge rapidly kind of narrowing?
Yeah, it is narrowing, right? Few factors. Number of restaurants are increasing because Chandigarh, देखो कहीं ना कहीं region का trendsetter है, right? So a lot of business people in that region see कि Chandigarh में चीज़ grow कर रही है, we also want to replicate it. One piece. Secondly, the UPI thing, right? वो इंडिया के सभी कोनों में already जा चुका है, right? Unfortunately, ये जो सभी funded startups हैं, ये बड़ी cities पे focus करते हैं, right? So we were talking earlier. So uEngage is one of the pilot companies and only company from the region who's part of the government-backed the ONDC project, right? ONDC का underlying vision और core principle ये है कि how are we gonna enable, right, next 7 to 10 years in the smallest part of the country, right? Because देखो इंडिया सिर्फ 5 मेट्रोस पे अब नहीं चल सकता, right? इंडिया को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा self-reliant cities चाहिए. We all know that, right? So आज नहीं तो कल नहीं तो परसों वो होना है, right? And I think digital is a way, you know, which is gonna be the huge contributor in this achievement.
Right. Karan, you're somebody who kind of moved into the Tri-City from Fazilka and then quickly had a J-shaped curve of growth in terms of kind of rapidly kind of making it in terms of networking also, making it in terms of your business, making it in terms of founding a university like Plaksha University where you're a co-founder. You're also now the chairperson of the PHDCCI, the Punjab chapter. And you are a very critical factor in what we talk about the next wave of businesses, which is also acting like connectors who make possible for information to flow between businesses, making it possible for networks to happen because a lot of business happens on the back of networks. And you are somebody who strongly believes in them. What has been your experience in terms of helping out a lot of people connect with each other, building up your own business, now being a part of PHDCCI, also Plaksha University, and what are the trends that you are identifying in terms of the next wave of businesses?
Thank you, Jyoti ji, for your kind words. Yes, I totally agree that I do believe in building network, and I really value those relationships, whether whatever front I kind of get to achieve them. And I must share from my own experiences what network can do to you and how it can change life. I would say, especially for your the people around you, and maybe that is something I have loved doing it. And today also, I think I'm here because probably we met and we kind of carried on this relationship. And so I think in every kind of business and every kind of journey, if you have a right mix of the network, it really can take you to another level. Like you just mentioned about Plaksha. So I would request everybody here to have a look at our website and just have a look at those founders, the list of those founders which are a part of this beautiful mission. 60 odd people from different parts of the world. I think we just about 2 or 3 of us who are from this region. Rest everybody is from all over the globe. And the kind of shiddat se jis tarah they want to give it back to society, and they have built up this philanthropy effort. It's really unbelievable. And imagine the kind of network opportunities it gives you. If somebody, like you've named this session, Connecting and Building Next. So from the likes of Mr. Rakesh Bharti Mittal, Mr. C.P. Gurnani, Mr. Anil Chawla, Dr. Tesh Malik, Mr. Mohit Tukral, you name the big boys of the industry, and everybody's as a founder in Plaksha. So imagine the kind of opportunities this network can provide you in taking forward your journey. So I strongly believe, and more or less, I would say that building next is not important that it has to be in terms of your net worth, or it has to be in terms of your businesses. At times, building next is, we're trying to build a next generation. We are trying to help people maybe with a better future, but at least that's our effort. Whether that's on the front of Plaksha, whether that's on the front of PhD, or whether that's on the front of my personal endeavors. So I think building next, because what makes you survive today is not important, but what we are remembered for, that's more important. Today, a lot of people, I think, spend their lives in trying to build what we call net worth. But I think your network should be your net worth, because if you're not made difference in anybody's life, whether it was for social impact, or whether it was for a business impact, or on any front. So I think you have not done enough being here. So I think one should try to connect and build next whatever satisfies them. If it is, I would say, on the social impact, I think that's a great blessing that God has given you. And also, I would say, the COVID has actually made me realize that this value of network. So I remember when my dear friend Sonu Sood and me, we started this journey of trying to help people and make a difference in their lives. It all started with a tweet from Andhra Pradesh, where we could see a farmer with his 2 daughters working in the field. And when we spoke to the gentleman who had posted that tweet, he said that इनके पास कोई और ऑप्शन नहीं था, इसलिए बच्चों को स्कूल से वापस निकाल लिया, and they are trying to save on the labor cost. तो हमने पहले सोचा कि बैल किसी तरह उनके लिए अरेंज कर सकें. Then it just thought of me, because Mr. Mittal is a good friend from Sonelaka. So I just spoke to him, and he was so kind enough to come forward and give a tractor to that family from his CSR initiatives. So now it's not me who gave the tractor. It's my network. I kind of try put dots together. Whether that was for setting up mobile towers or distributing mobile phones, everybody might be of this impression that, we kind of spent a lot of money doing all those things. But trust me, at least from my end, I only capitalized on my network, because there are people who want to kind of come forward and do something for the society, but they look for options. So I think that is where a connect makes a difference. That is where I think our PhD chamber also, we are not doing any business ourselves. We are only doing the handholding of the MSMEs here, because a lot of people today, like yesterday also, we had a SLC meeting by the Punjab government, wherein a very interesting case was brought, wherein the consultants are just telling them कि यार आप अपना ना capital को कम रखो, अगर ज़्यादा हो गए तो जितनी ऊपर फाइल जाएगी उतनी फंस जाएगी. So that is where PhD comes in place. We try educate people that, okay, you should try build your business, and whatever support you need from the government, whether it's state government or central government, please write to us, please come forward and share that with us, and we'll take that forward. So I think network in any kind of form, or just not, I would say, your own businesses, even I would say in the family, if you can create that connect amongst your, I would say, extended family, that goes, because the way the society is moving today, tomorrow maybe today we have 10 cousins, next generation will have 6, next generation will have probably just the immediate family. So I think it works everywhere.
You said an interesting line that your network is your net worth. And going by that, you have a solid net worth. But it's not everybody's cup of tea. I mean, everybody knows it, but somehow it doesn't work out for everyone in terms of being able to build the network. So there is a whole skill set that's required there in terms of being able to nurture it, sustain it, make sure that the giving also happens. You cannot be a taker all the time. You have to be a giver, and that's where the network also happens. Like there is this Chinese term, which is guangxi, which means basically having a network where you can kind of do something for somebody, and in return, they also have to do something for you. That's how things work. But if you had to give a few quick tips on building your network, because ultimately if you're looking at building a solid business, you need to build a network also. What would you say?
I don't know whether everyone would agree or not, but some of my friends are here. I'm sure they would agree. I think the most important thing in building network is you need to be selfless. If you have an agenda on mind and a motive behind making that relationship, I don't think it works. That's my way of looking at it, but some could disagree also. And I think I love doing it, so that keeps it going. And of course, it needs a lot of investment of time, investment of relationships, because you kind of you are at it most of the time. So I think वो कहते हैं आप शिद्दत से कोई भी चीज़ करेंगे and with that passion, I'm sure you'll be successful. And I think if I ask you, Jyoti ji, you have to take out media and entertainment from your life. So what would you be? So I feel totally, I would say, satisfied if being what I am today and what my network has made me. If I take out that from me, I don't think I'll be the same Karan Gilhotra. So
great. Yeah. Sameer, I'll give you a quick couple of lines to kind of wind up before we go to Harkirat. Everybody amongst you has also been talking about the human factor. Ultimately, we have been talking about a lot about digital technologies. We have been talking about how things are rapidly changing in the world. One thing which keeps coming to my mind is like Yuval Noah Harari repeatedly saying that there is going to be a useless class in society, because eventually they'll become so far back in terms of their technological and educational prowess that they'll be unfit to do anything. But as you look upon these kind of cutting edge areas that you're operating in, what is your advice, or what is it that you can do to make sure that it becomes more inclusive, more participative?
I think it's a progress, right? So even if you historically look at industrialization, right? So there were a lot of speculation कि बड़ा कुछ खत्म हो जाएगा, right? ऐसा नहीं होता. I think human mind is too smart to just take a bow down कि मैं हार गया, right? So changes will happen, improvisation will happen. Yes, there are new cutting edge technologies, but that does not mean the history or whosoever is taken us to this year or this stage will be wiped out. That I don't believe that. That's not going to happen, right? So every business is going to improvise, right? Every community is going to improvise, right? Every individual is going to improvise. So that's how I perceive it, right? So I think that's a personal perspective I have.
Great. Harkirat, you were talking a while back that you have now reached a stage where you have done what you thought you needed to do. You have built it up into a very sustained kind of a business, now a sustainable business. And now you're wanting to kind of take the message further forward. Actually going out to people in Punjab, literally like you were saying, looking at somebody saying that they have 10 acres of farmland with them and they also want to get into farm tourism, then they can always work with you and you would like to build them up so that it becomes a more spread out business. It starts getting seeded in more places in Punjab. So when you look at this phase of your life where you actually want to now help with the next businesses and build those Biznexts, what is it that is driving you right now? Why do you want to do this now? And another thing along with it, you were only talking about the fact that this February is unusually warm. One thing we all have to keep in mind is that the climate is changing and it's something which is worrisome. As we talk about scalability, as we talk about growth, but we also got to keep in mind that the world is changing, the environment is changing. That's another area that you are concerned about. So when you look at taking this idea to the next generation and also sustainability, how do you kind of see the two merging?
See, our topic today is how to help build businesses in Punjab and India. So, pehli gal ta Punjab ch the biz, we need to add the fizz. Fizz is missing. Jab tak fizz nahi aandi, we will not be able to progress. As you said, yes, I am a Punjabi and I want to help my farmers because I see how farmers are living, how tough their lifestyle is. But with all these things which are against them, फिर भी उन्होंने ਜਿਹੜੀ determination है to give food to our country, it's amazing. So I feel through rural tourism, they could diversify and ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ income ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਥੋੜਾ ਸਾ increase ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ. So ਮੈਂ ਇਹੀ ਜੇ ਕਿਤਨਾ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ 7-8 ਏਕੜ ਦੇ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਨੇ below 10 acres ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ sustainability is at high risk. So we can set up a kind of a model for them jithe they don't have to go in for lavish farm stays or they don't have to spend lavishly in construction. So they could go in for small backpacking hostels where basically at the end of the day ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ experience ਦੇਣਾ ਹੈ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ and ਹਰ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ segment ਹੈ market ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ which want to travel but they cannot because things are expensive. So I feel if small farmers are given an extended hand, आजकल बड़ा रिवाज हैगा of startups. Startups have been there for so long, but now we've given an English name to startups, you know. Basically, पहले लोग ਜਦੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਜੀ ਕੰਮ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹਨੇ. So it's just ਪਹਿਲੇ ਸਾਰੇ parents ਸਾਨੂੰ finance ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ, ਹੁਣ companies finance ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, which is very good that startups have started and ਲੋਕਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਫਾਈਨੈਂਸਿਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਆਪਣੀ ਐਕਸਟੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਐਕਸਪੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ. ਸੋ ਆਈ ਫੀਲ with startups coming in and investing in a good promising farmer, that farmer should be able to double his income with farm tourism. I guarantee you this through my experience and the spirit. I'm sure they will be able to do it. And government should look for ways to get finances for them. How, or like Karan heads this organization where they are in a capacity to recognize particular people and start a pilot project, you know, where we could see some farmers one in Doaba, one in Maja and one in your Malwa areas. So your second question about the weather. See, I am not against industrialization. बड़ी अच्छी गल है इंडस्ट्री आनी चाहिए है, मगर एक system and responsible way ਨਾਲ आनी चाहिए है, not at the cost of our health. ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਐਡੇ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਫੈਕਟਰੀਆਂ ਲਗਾ ਦਿਓ, but you see the results, how much impact they are going to have on our health. So this weather is because of all this, because of this global warming, because of all this industrialization. They should be responsible industry. And I feel jada rural India hai, we are mostly our population is in the rural India and they are raring to go. Youngsters are raring to go. Unhanu nu unskilled to skilled karan di load hai, where government can play a very big role in that. And I think they are very committed. It's a very committed lot, and they will not let us down. Jyoti, I must tell you that.
Yeah.
And we should pray that our ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋ ਜੀ farming ਸਾਰੇ ਹਿੰਦੁਸਤਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਰੋਟੀ ਖਿਲਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ. 80 crore people are eating twice a day, and 56% of the contribution is Punjab's. ਤਾਲੀਆਂ ਹੋ ਜਾਣ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਲਈ. And we should look for ways to increase their incomes. Farming ਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ income ਨਹੀਂ ਵੱਧ ਸਕਦੀ. Our biggest concern is the paddy. ਜਦੋਂ paddy ਆਂਦੀ ਹੈ, that is totally against our weather, against the natural way of growing, because our lands are not suitable, our water level is growing down. मैं ਹੁਣ ट्यूबवेल एक connection करवाया, it's gone to 600 feet. That is alarming. We don't realize it now, but 10 years or 15 years down the line, we will have no water. So we have to look for alternate professions in farming. So rural tourism could be one of the ways. We could go in for processing. We could go in for handicrafts. We could go in for skilled labor, where 8-10 ਪਿੰਡਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ cluster ਹੋਵੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ 2-3 ਛੋਟੀਆਂ industries ਹੋਣ. So I think we can look for a lot of ways to handle that.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say.
Yes. So, I mean, that's been fantastic. Thank you so much, Harkirat, Sameer, Karan. for participating in Biznext and kind of giving your ideas here. And I'm sure that something is going to come out of it. And as you said, opportunity after opportunity exists. It's just about catching them, figuring them out, and building them into the next businesses. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And I'd like to request our esteemed panelists to please be on stage for a few more minutes with us while I request Jyoti ji to kindly felicitate our esteemed panelists, because आपने इतनी interesting conversation, इतना मुश्किल सब्जेक्ट है ये, जिसको इतना आसान शब्दों में हम सबको समझाया कि किस तरह से पंजाब में बिजनेस को कनेक्ट किया जा सकता है, बिल्ड किया जा सकता है. थैंक यू सो मच. जोरदार तालियां हो जाएं करण, समीर और हरकीरत के लिए. थैंक यू सो